What's up guys, Syiler here, and I am back with another video, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the 8.2 PTR and one of the mounts that's going to come from that patch in particular, which is the X-995 Mechanocat. Now we did get a small preview of this mount from the Rise of Azshara preview Blizzard did on their live stream, but I did want to make another video covering how it's obtained and stuff for a few reasons. The first one being I don't want to call this a guide. It's more of an early preview because it's a little bit too early to call this a guide. It's too early to solidify the information because things could change. Now I have obtained this mount, I know how it works, but I don't want to call it a guide in case things change. I don't think much of this is going to change, but as I said, a little bit too early. The other reason is this mount has a unique feature that we haven't seen on mounts before, and it's pretty interesting. It's something they might use again in the future depending on how it goes down. So I thought that was worth talking about too, and that is a tinting system. You're basically going to be able to turn one mount that's in your mount collection into multiple different mounts by changing the color of it, essentially. So in terms of how this mount is obtained, it's going to come from obviously 8.2 and one of the new zones called Mechagon. Mechagon is kind of like a timeless isle style zone, very similar in size too. And by that I mean it's quite alive in the events and the rares. The rares have a chunky respawn timer, events are going to be taking place, so you need to be quite proactive on the island, running around trying to find this stuff to get it all done. So so far, honestly, it's been quite fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops. But the mount will come from a NPC called Pascal, and you'll gain access to Pascal quite early on. You'll do a few quests in Mechagon when you get there. You'll unlock Pascal, and Pascal is kind of like a crafting bench. But you don't need any professions or anything like that. You just need Pascal unlocked and everyone will be able to craft things from him. Now you will need the recipe to be able to craft the Mechanocat, and that is going to come from an NPC in Bondo's Yard, which is fairly nearby Rustbolt, which is your main hub. And there will be an NPC called Cork who will sell you the recipe for about 50 gold. There doesn't seem to be any prerequisite behind that currently, that might change. But you head to him, you buy that, you head back to Pascal, and you'll unlock the ability to be able to craft the Mechanocat. Now from there you will need the materials, and in terms of the materials, the first one up is spare parts, and you need 2,000 of those. And these are pretty easy to come by though. They'll come from treasures, they'll come from killing mobs, they'll come from completing events. There's a bunch of stuff that's going to give these to you basically. Now you do need to spend them on certain things, but you can grind these out. It took me about 2 or 3 hours to grind out the 2k I needed, and I could make the mount, so it's not that crazy. The next item up is going to be energy cells. This is a little bit more tricky. You need 5 of these, and you get a couple from doing the initial quest line, but from there you're on your own. So they do come from rares on quite a low drop chance. I've only had 1, I think, from the rares that I've killed. Some people have obviously got more, but I've only had 1. And you're gonna have a chance from those. Some people do say they come from normal mobs too, but I haven't seen that. I've killed quite a lot of mobs, and some of my friends have killed quite a lot of mobs too, and they haven't seen any either. So, that might be true, that might not be true, who knows. The other method is you can actually just loot them. I've only found them in Rustbolt. I don't know if they spawn anywhere else, but in Rustbolt, if I run around, there'll be these tiny little things that you can click on. They're very, very small, on tables, under ledges and stuff, and it'll be slightly shiny. You'll mouse over it, you'll have a cogwheel, and you'll be able to loot an energy cell. Now I've only found 2 of these, and I have had quite a good look around, and there was quite a big gap between the first and the second one. So it's not going to be a reliable way of getting these, but it is going to be another way. The next method up is from these this tower that will allow you to turn empty energy cells, which you get quite a lot of. It's a green item, and you'll be able to fill it up and turn it into a normal energy cell. Now when I unlocked the tower, I went there and the tower wasn't working for me. So I don't know if it's a case of it's like a daily thing, you can only do it once a day, or if it's only up during a certain kind of like event day and you'll be able to use it then. I'm not too sure, but either way that tower will be there at some point in some way, and you'll be able to craft energy cells using empty energy cells, and I think you have to spend spare parts as well. But yeah, that's going to be another method. And then there's probably some other methods of getting energy cells I haven't found yet, but either way you should be able to get 5 fairly easily in a couple of days or whatever, and get your 5 that you need. The next method up, or the next item up I should say, is the chain ignite coil, and this is going to come from the same NPC that sells you the recipe, but this item is going to cost 35,000 gold per one, and you need 4 of them, so that's 140,000 gold to get those 4 items. But there is some good news. these items so far we found on rares. I've gotten one from kind of like a big raid boss style rare that took quite a few people to kill. And my friend got one from that same rare and also from a different rare. So he's gotten 2 and I've gotten 1 within the first day of the content. So it is possible you could get all 4 from that. I don't know if you can get all 4, but you can at least get 2. And you'd have to fork out 70k if that's the case. But I think you could definitely get more than 2. And that's quite nice. So you could either be the guy who wants it instantly and you're willing to throw down 140k, or you could wait a few days, few weeks, whatever, get your 4 chain ignite coils and buy the mount that way. Or maybe you're on 3 for ages and you really just want to get the mount finished. You could throw down 35k, which is a lot more reasonable, and get the final one you need. So I think that's quite a cool system. A little strange, because I think most people are just going to farm them out rather than spending 140k, but at least you have the option, and I think that's quite nice. So those are going to be the 3 items you need. You'll get those, you'll head back to Pascal, you'll create the mount, and then from there you'll just have this base kind of grey looking Mechanocat. So that's the base colour, and then from there's going to be 8 other colours that you can obtain. So there's 9 colours total essentially. The colours, the way that works is you'll head back to Bondo's yard. There'll be this kind of massive circle with like spray paint. There'll be an NPC there that you can speak to, and that NPC will allow you to spray your Mechanocat. And when you summon it next, it will have that colour that you've picked. Now you don't have them unlocked by default, you do have to unlock them. And so far I've unlocked 2, which both came from rares. I unlocked the Fell Mint Green and the Fireball Red. Both of those came from rare mobs. There is a bunch of other colours too. There's Big Ol' Bronze, Mechagon Gold, Lemonade Steel, Overload Orange, and Copper Trim. And once you get all of those, I assume they're all going to come from rares and events and stuff. But either way, you'll get all of those, and that will unlock the Battle Torn Blue, which is going to be like a more special colour. So you're going to be able to get kind of 9 colours for this total if you include the base colour, and you're going to be able to customize it that way. So even though this mount is going to be obtainable by most people who do Mechagon content, especially if all 4 of those chain igniter coils are free, then a big chunk of the playbase is going to have this mount, but everyone's going to be able to take their own twist on the way they have their mount colored, and also the the transmog and stuff that they do with it. So I think that's kind of cool. It makes a mount that's one mount in your spellbook basically turn into multiple mounts, and I kind of prefer that over them just being like, oh, here's 6 different variations on the vendor that you've got to buy. I like having this one mount that I can kind of customize how I want it to be. I think that's quite a nice feature, and I'll be curious to see how it works out and how it's received, and how if they plan to use it again in the future, how they use it. But for this particular mount, I think it works quite well, and I think most people will be happy with the way this one works. So yeah, that is a look at the mount. Hopefully this video was interesting or useful to you. As I said, most of this information will probably carry over to live anyway. So if you're watching this, I'd imagine you'll be able to go into live when this comes out at least, and get the mount a very similar way. Some things might change. If it drastically changes, I'll definitely make another video on it. But either way, look out for more of my content coming soon if you enjoyed this one. I'm going to be covering more of the 8.2 PTR along with live videos as well on live retail game. And yeah, we also have a Discord server if you want to hang out there, cover World of Warcraft, link mounts, latest drops, link your transmog, hang out, and also we do some viewer runs and stuff as well. So if that sounds interesting, link in the description down below. But outside of that, look out for more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.